They came from the unknown. It is the 8,988th supercycle of the Universal Galactic League's calendar. Reporting of pirate attacks has now risen roughly 700% in just the last 2 supercycles. Previously, statistics on piracy were just 15 incidents per supercycle. Now they're at over 10,500 per supercycle. The Galactic League, a galactic entity made up of thousands of worlds of thousands of species, has recently set out on investigation on why the rate of piracy has increased so dramatically. Trade routes were further consolidated, and are about the only safe regions you can travel in, other than the League star systems. On the upside, it seems the pirates aren't too picky about their prey. Smuggling has gone down because of the new pirates. But that's not too great when any ship that wanders away from the protection of the trade routes gets attacked. It's basically a 100% probability to get attacked outside protected trade routes, unless you're escorted by a warship. Few have seen these pirates and lived to tell the tale, but we aren't entirely blind to how their ships are. Their ships lack armor. They lack shields of any kind. A single turbo cannon shot can obliterate a new pirate ship. That's why they avoid warships. They use kinetic weaponry, concussive slug cannons, missiles. The closest thing they use to energy weaponry are EMP missiles. This is why they avoid contact with warships at all costs. They'll abandon their prey if even a single warship approaches. And that's where I come in. I am Morax Aleniad, captain of the Luranian Royal Navy spaceship, the RAF, a frigate. For a brief summation, the RAF is around 367 fathoms long, bristling with weapons, and the fastest engines in the galaxy. Our job is to patrol the outer reaches of the Nauti Relota space route near the frontier, a hotspot for pirate activities. Luckily, the Wraith's mere presence clears an area roughly 60 light hours in diameter. Pirates flee at any warning. But this supercycle, it's my story. I won't let the Galactic Council silence me. I know what I saw and I know what I did. And this is my warning. We got too close to something that looked like the new pirates, but far more terrifying. The patrol was normal. A few pirate ships here and there. No victims, but the pirates fled at our sight. We were 7 light years from the closest star system, and currently we're traveling at 24% the speed of light. Our FTL drive was only partially on, helping us patrol in a timely manner. It wasn't long, however, till we spotted a wreckage with our radar. I commanded them to go off our patrol route to check if there were any survivors. We slowed down. Our radar showed that alongside the wreckage, there were a few asteroids just a few fathoms in size. When we scanned the wreckage, no life signs were detected, but we'd have to report our findings, log its position, so no one traveling with their FTL drives would smash into it. Then, one of the asteroids started to move towards us. Radar showed it was a mere 3 fathoms in size, not large enough to bust for our shields or even dent our armor. But my radar operator said it was moving with purpose. I dismissed anything of it. The asteroid was just being sucked towards us because of gravity. "Sir, we should at least bring up a live feed of it," my first officer said. "At least to be sure." He seemed a bit more jittery, and looked at me worriedly with his 4 eyes. I sighed. "Bring up camera feed and shine lights on it," I said. I thought we'd just check it out for a few seconds before turning away. The feed came up, and I leaned forward. There was a ship. It was black with red stripes across it, and clearly alien writing on its surface. A single large engine was at the rear, and hatches that surely would open to weaponry. It had an angular look, no curves apart from its engine's nozzle. It looked pristine, not destroyed enough to be abandoned. "Show a wide view. How big is it?" I commanded. "Our radar suggested 3 to 4 fathoms long, sir," my radar operator responded. As I saw the wide view with the Wraith in frame, it looked mismatched in size. "Run scans of it again. That thing is not 4 fathoms long." If I had to hazard a guess, it had to be at least 20 fathoms long, maybe even longer. "Unidentified ship just passed for our shields," my shield officer responded. only an object 20 fathoms in length could pass through our shields like that. The Wraith didn't have shields strong enough to bounce off objects larger than that. Open all communications channels now. We're going to hail it. Set engines to reverse 40%. We need to keep it outside our shields. Aye, sir. My helmsman responded. Yes, sir. Broadcasting on all channels, sir. My radio operator said. I cleared my throat and bellowed. Unknown ship, this is Morax Aleniad, captain of the LRN Wraith. Please respond with your identification and your intentions. Over. As we drifted back slowly, I saw microthrusters maneuvering the ship, and his main engine powering up to keep up with us. It didn't respond. I repeat, this is Morax Aleniad, captain of the LRN Wraith. Please respond with your identification and your intentions. Over. Suddenly, without warning, some sort of instrument played back from the unknown ship. It was some sort of alien instrument. Music. But a type I'd never heard before. It was the only communication it opened, but I didn't know if it was some sort of hailing protocol it had. I sighed. Keep that channel open, I said. Lyrics started to come through in a completely unknown language. Turn the AI translation on, my first officer commanded. A few minutes passed and the ship stayed close, well within our shields. Prepare all weaponry. If it doesn't respond clearly, we'll have to treat it as a threat, I commanded. Wait for my command. Aye, sir. Charging weaponry, my weapons officer replied. After a moment, the AI translator finally came back with something understandable. Definitely some type of song, but it just puzzled me. And the bird you cannot change, and the bird you cannot change. Lord knows I can change. Sir, we should engage, my first officer suggested. I sighed. Fine. Fire! Lord, I can change. Won't you fly? Free bird, yeah. Immediately, the ship rolled over fast towards the camera. A flurry of energy weapons went off, but none made contact. Evasive maneuvers, I bellowed. The music kept playing through the channel, energetic and now without lyrics. The Wraith lurched forward before shaking violently. I was thrown from my chair. I stood just as my first officer yelled, Engines 1 and 3 down, 2 and 4 are damaged. Full speed ahead! Turn around and get a sight on the ship, I yelled. All weapons fire at will. Silence. I just remember silence. I hate silence. Every camera showed a blank, and the ship was nowhere on our radar. Did it warp? My first officer asked. No signs of FTL drive activation, my radar officer reported. Then where did it go? I sighed and walked back to my chair. Do a full region scan. I want to know where that ship went. It couldn't have gotten far. An explosion shook the entire ship now, and we lurched backwards. What happened? I yelled. Engines 2 and 4 destroyed, sir, my first officer yelled. We only have maneuvering thrusters. The lights flickered. I looked around suspiciously before the lighting went off. EMP, I said. Fruff! It was a new pirate ship. It was toying with us. I stood up, but it was pitch black. But don't the new pirates avoid us? Why go to such lengths? The ship shook now. I don't know, but we're just a floating hunk of scrap metal now. I thought for a moment. Get emergency power online. Anyone who can see in the dark, get weapons. The pirates may attempt to board. Everyone else, get to the escape pods at best speed. The ship shook again. A long creaking sound could be heard as everyone started to move around. Only a few, trying to restore backup power, stayed at their positions. Radio comms back online, sir, my radio operator said. Just as I heard that, dim yellowish-orange lights turned on. There's a message, sir. Let it play, I said. The AI translator seemed to have just enough power to get the message through. LRN Wraith, this is Alexander Brooke, captain of the Armada Space Corporation ship, the Lion. Prepare to be boarded and taken as prisoners of war. You have full guarantees to be treated under the humane laws of war as decreed by the Treaty of Mars. Captain Alexander, this is Captain Morax. We will do no such thing, I responded. Silence. Eleron Rafe, your crew will be taken as prisoners of war. If you refuse to lay down your weapons, you shall be scuttled. Over. We weren't at war with you, I said, annoyed at this captain for such a tone. We're members of the Galactic League. Any further harm shall be met in kind by our comrades. Over. Eleron Rafe, prepare to be scuttled. Everyone to the escape pods, I bellowed. It became a mad rush now to the escape pods, yet there was not inaction. Nothing was fired off until all the escape pods were out. I only saw two shadows from my escape pod, the Wraith and the Lion. The Wraith's shadow dwarfed the Lion's many times over. The Lion dropped something onto the Wraith before flying to capture some of the escape pods, but not all. Not mine, luckily. I watched as its shadow disappeared. The Wraith exploded violently, all along its length in a great display of lights. It took several solar cycles of being trapped in that escape pod, with just two others, before a passing cargo ship rescued us. We were half mad by that time, and already 70% the way for our supplies. I was brought back to Luria, and given a psychological evaluation. I learned that out of the 8,907 crew members of the Wraith, only 6 had been rescued, and a confirmed 567 were dead. The rest were assumed KIA. Then they asked for my report. I told them the truth, but they called me mad. Even a new pirate fleet wouldn't be stupid enough to engage a frigate, and no new pirate fleet has such stealth technology to appear so small. The Lurian Navy quietly discharged me because I was too mentally unstable. The Galactic League covered the destruction of the Wraith as entering an asteroid belt by mistake, and smashed to pieces with few survivors. But I know the truth. The Lion, the Armada Space Corporation. We are at war, and I know it. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy.